How are you? Everybody slept well? Sometimes not so easy to sleep, if you're not used to sleeping on strange beds all the time. Then it can be quite difficult, like for 2 nights. And then after 2 nights, then we go home again. So it's difficult to kind of get used to it. Yeah, the mind is very much, it likes to have things that it's used to. It doesn't like so much change. Change is very much part of our life, like impermanence. And it's another thing, yesterday we talked a little bit about death. I'm happy to see everybody is still around. I'm not joking, because I slipped in the shower yesterday, so if I hit my head in a kind of, bad way, then I might be in hospital or somewhere. I could catch myself, so it was okay. And I thought, okay. Sometimes it seems like the message comes from the universe, We have the intellectual knowledge, and then it's still only up here, but it's not here, and then sometimes the message comes and says, hey, but this is really real. So maybe for the frustrations, maybe I say a few things quickly, because it does really explain the whole of Buddhism, actually, frustration. Not so much the throwing yourself on the floor, but more the hand gesture. Because what you try to do in Buddhism is understanding the basis, what you have to understand, what you work with. Then how you work with this is called the path. And then out of this, when you work with this basis, with the path or with the structure, you can also call it structure. It doesn't really have methods, Path always seems like, again, so solid coming from here to there, but it's like methods, structure, and then what you also have to understand is the result. What will be the result of this path? So, again, the result of this path will not be just being a happy human being. The result of this path will be that you will attain the two bodies of a fully enlightened being. Meaning, when they talk about two bodies, they talk the mind also as a body. Okay, so sometimes with the terminology you have to be quite flexible, because when we think, no, body is only what we can see and touch, then it's not going to work. They call this kaya. The kayas in Sanskrit, like the different bodies of a fully awakened beings. So you have the mind body, which is a mind which is totally free from all negative emotions. And not just that, but also being omniscient, meaning knowing everything. And not that kind of knowledge that we kind of talk about. What is the capital of Venezuela or things like that. But knowing what brings happiness and knowing what brings suffering. This kind of wisdom, this kind of knowledge, because that's the only wisdom that is really relevant to us. Because we all have this very strong wish to be free from suffering. So that's the only knowledge we should learn, actually. All the rest, what kind of name that star has over there that I will never go and visit. It's nice to know. Actually, at one point, an astrophysicist in Germany was like with the Dalai Lama. He asked the Dalai Lama if he thinks it's ethical what he's doing, spending his whole life studying stars that most probably nobody will ever go to. Because he himself, he started to question it. Like, what am I doing here? Is this relevant? So anyway, but we have so much outside knowledge in this world, and then the more you can cram into your brain, and the more you can then, talk about these things, the more you are admired by the world, because then they say, wow, you're so intelligent and all this. And we have a lot of admiration for intelligence in this world, whatever that, but it's not emotional intelligence, it's just intelligence that is learned. So, yeah, if your brain is very good, then okay, but it's not a quality by itself, from the spiritual point of view, because intelligent people can be really nasty. Yeah, being intelligent doesn't make you naturally a good member of society. Yeah? Very often this intelligence is being used to exploit others or to get fame and all this. Not always, but in general, then people are shocked. When they hear that very intelligent people behave in a very unethical way, they're shocked. Isn't it? Because we imply that being intelligent means you have a good heart also, but it doesn't mean that. So whereas the admiration for a good heart is quite small actually, especially in this country, they think you're a friar. Yeah? It's very difficult to be kind-hearted to everybody in this country. In other countries also, but it's especially here, because here again you're being taught not to be the friar, there's conflict, you have to win, somebody wants to cheat you, you have to find out, you have to sue them, you have to do this. Otherwise you feel terrible, isn't it? If you're really kind and somebody, me, the people cheat, and I go to the market, I know they cheat me, because why? Because I'm very easy to cheat, so I can either not go anymore, but I love to shoot. So, so I had to change my attitude. Why am I going there? I'm going there to give them business. Then I succeed every time, And I don't get upset because they cheat me. But it doesn't make any difference in my life if they cheat me. If they charge me 30 shekel instead of 20, it doesn't make a difference for me. For other people, if I tell that, most of the people know me, but if I say that to some Israeli, normal Israeli out there, they think I'm stupid, isn't it? Probably some of you also. Huh? I'm the friar. So, somebody has to be the friar. If there's conflict, somebody has to be the friar. I take that role voluntarily, then I don't suffer. Why does it always have to be the other person? So actually these teachings are how to learn to be a happy friar. Now it's not that you put yourself, actually when you're very advanced, you put yourself on purpose into these situations to see, So it took me quite a while not to feel stupid being cheated every time, but also I lived a long time in India, so there you learn it. So, because they cheat you all the time also. And I'm not saying that to criticize, I'm just saying it's a fact, and I know. I can calculate, it's okay. I see how many, also the numbers I understand, so I see how much other people pay and how much I pay for the tomatoes. But it's okay. And then, as I said, if I change my attitude, then it's fine. Now, if it would be that now then I don't have enough money to survive, then it would be a different matter. Yeah? But this is, you use these situations, you use them as a training. Okay? Okay, so the result will be a mind which is totally free from any negative emotions, like emotions that distort, emotions that create a false picture of what actually is there, and a mind that is filled with love and compassion for everybody. Yeah? Like only wanting everybody to be happy and only wanting everybody to be free from suffering. That is the result of this practice. So not every ordinary person would want that. They would say, this is perverse, I don't want that. Because the people who are bad, they need to suffer. That's kind of the ordinary view, isn't it? Now, okay, they will suffer anyway. If you believe in a God, then he will catch up with them, don't worry. If you believe in karma, it will catch up with them, don't we? We don't have to be the judges and the executors of making them suffer because they're bad. Also, we don't really have to educate people. This is one thing also that you have to let go when you start doing these practices. This is about transforming my own mind. If then other people get inspired by it, or if other people ask, then okay, you tell them something. But otherwise, and we don't even say, but what about those people who we leave them alone? If you can stop them, again, it's like don't don't be so Israeli extreme and take it for whatever I say, look at just black and white. It's not black and white. Buddhism is totally grey. Sometimes it's white, sometimes it's black, sometimes it's neither. It's like, it depends on the situation. So Buddhism is not a handbook that you have all the situations and then you check, oh, what do I do then? Because it depends on conditions, the state of mind of the other person, my state of mind. Will it be beneficial if I do something now in the long run? Will it only be beneficial in the short run but not in the long run? Then you don't do it. Yeah? Will it be not beneficial in the short run but beneficial in the long run? Then you do it. So you see, you need to kind of weigh up a lot of things before you start acting. And then the clearer and the cleaner your mind, and the more you are concerned with the happiness of the other person who is also involved, then of course the better your reaction. For what? For your own karma, not so much for the other person. We cannot influence other people. So there's a lot that comes in it. So this is why we work with the mind state, so that we see when it's not clear, and we understand when it's not clear. So we try not to act neither with body nor with speech, because with the mindfulness meditation you have to become aware that something is coming up. And then slowly not to create more habits all the time of, seeing other people, criticizing them, wanting them to change. Then we think, then I'll be a happier person. Like every time we are unhappy, not every time, most of the time, we blame other people for it, isn't it? But we cannot change other people. We can only change our attitude. And this is what these methods are for. So then another result is the body of a Buddha. Yeah? So what exactly a Buddha is again very difficult for us to understand. Now, a fully awakened being also has a body which is what is called as a rainbow body. It's a body made out of light. And this is what you see in these pictures there. These would be more these kind of Sambhogakaya, it's called enjoyment body. This would be the natural body of a Buddha, manifesting in whatever form is of benefit, because it touches something in us that goes beyond intellect. That's why different colors, that's why different forms, and then with time, as you continue with the practice, then you start to get to know them. What you see here is an emanation body of a Buddha. It's called Shakyamuni. This one is Shakyamuni Buddha. So these other bodies, these rainbow bodies, we can only make pictures, and only people who have high realizations can see them directly. For us, we can't see them directly. But then there is what is called also an emanation body, and that becomes then a historical Buddha. A body that ordinary beings like us also can see, even though it still has signs that are not ordinary like us, like the long ears, and then the three things here, and then the arms go down to the knees, and all these kinds of things. So what it represents there, you have the white ones, which represents the compassion of a fully awakened being. You have the orange one is Madrushi, represents the wisdom of an enlightened being, which is that one there, which with his sword of wisdom, he cuts through misconceptions. So here in Buddhism, wisdom is not an old man with a white beard, which is usually what wisdom is. Yeah? Now we can see that these very old people, they're not so wise anymore. So it's a young man, it's a young person. Then over there you have Bodhisattva, I think it is. So that's the Buddha that we do when we do purification practices. So each of these forms kind of touches on a different aspect in us, but more in the subtle mind, or on consciousness, or no, not unconsciousness, subconsciousness it's called. But it's very, very difficult to understand, because we try to, you see, we have so many preconceptions, we have so many different views already, we have heard so many things, and we have formed an opinion around it, and then it's not going, the teachings are not going into a clean vessel. they're going into a vessel, sometimes it's already full. And then we try, because we like it, because the whole thing is so logic. Yeah, and it does kind of talk to us, because we all like love and compassion. But then we try to kind of distort it so that it already fits what we have already, the opinion that we already have. So sometimes it's difficult. And it's with the practice and with the going to teachings again and again and again. And it doesn't have to be teachings here. Teachings can be YouTube. Teachings can be webcasts. The teachings. But what you also need is not just the teacher, the teachings. You also need people around you who practice, because you can go totally in the wrong direction when you just do YouTube and books. You can, especially this Christian thing that everybody, or the Polish mother, everybody should be happy, but not me. I give up everything. I sacrifice myself for the happiness of all others. That's not Mayan Buddhism, although it sounds like that. Because that's only at the end, when you have become so unneedy that you can give everything away. Or when you are, I don't want to put myself up that, I'm very realized, because if they would cheat me, in the shuk out of 200-300%, then I would also start to say something. If it's 10 shekel instead of 20 or 30, I can bear it, it's okay. And I don't get angry and I don't feel stupid. But if it gets higher, then also I would react. You see what I mean? So it's not with everything. But every time you try to expand your, what's it called? Your borders, boundaries, yeah, thank you. You try to expand your boundaries. And something that somebody, we always go about how to protect myself, how to protect myself, how to protect myself. And somebody told me the other day, and I found it so beautiful, the best protection is an open heart. It's so beautiful, and it's so true. Because then you don't get angry. If you see, why is this person cheating me? Because, they find pleasure and happiness in things like this who are totally not necessary also. So instead of getting angry at that person, you actually generate compassion. But not compassion, poor thing down there, he doesn't even know what brings happiness. But like real compassion, to see that so much suffering comes because of wrong views and wrong intelligence, wrong knowing, that if I cheat people, I get rich. Maybe short term he will get it, but what is, how can he be happy about these 10 shekel? It's such a perverse happiness in a way. And it's so sad when people find happiness only in those things. Yeah. It's quite amazing actually in India, I found, because I try to go to the same people when I advise you that we build up a connection. It's also, I find it very pleasant to have a connection with the people who sell me things. And I found out also in India, because I didn't react, also I didn't come and complain when they put me out of 10 apples, maybe one was totally rotten. Because in India you can't pick the things yet. It will probably also come, So you spend so much less time in the market in India, because he is giving you things you can't choose. You don't have to go through all the 50 tomatoes to find you 2 ones that you want. So you save yourself a lot of time in India. But sometimes they do put things in it that are not, that are a bit flawed. So what do? You cut off what is not well and what is okay, and you use the other one. But what I found out, because I didn't react, and I was really trying to make human contact, because I like that. I like to make contact with people. And they stopped cheating me all of a sudden. Yeah, so my karma finished to be cheated. And if I look at karma, why can I be cheated? Because I stole from other people. And me personally, I don't have to go into past lives. I can see it in this life. I stole money from my parents, then I stole money from my boss, the second job I had, because it was so easy and I thought I didn't get enough salary. So it's like, this is the boomerang coming back, so why should I complain? I should actually be happy. So this is very skillful thinking. Thanks to this guy, my negative karma gets exhausted. So this is what you learn. Yeah? So you actually say thank you. But then you have to be careful because he is creating negative karma. So then you go with bodhicitta, and this for people who are new now, I'm sorry about you guys, if you never heard anything about Buddhism, this sounds so perverse. That you're actually grateful to somebody who is harming you because they're doing you a great favor. Why? One thing is they exhaust your negative karma, so you're not being reborn in a lower state, or you don't have to find the same difficult situations again and again and again and again. Second, they give you the opportunity to practice patience. Because when you have a patient mind, most of your problems are finished. Most of your negative emotions are finished. And patience, I don't mean to, I'm not going to react, that's not patience. But patience really understand, having the space in your mind to understand the situation, knowing about karma, knowing about this person is doing that not because he's very intelligent, but because, he's creating his own suffering. So why should I get angry at him? There's also a verse here in the 5th chapter which says, why getting angry at people who are so much under the control of their negative emotions? I mean, they suffer enough. Why getting angry at them? Instead of generating compassion. So, somebody who is harming me gives me this occasion to practice patience, to work with my anger, to take the situation apart, to look at it, to look at my mind and all this. If everybody is kind to us, we don't have any opportunity to practice. When I first came to this country, because people look like the people in Europe, so I didn't think I would get cheated in the shops. And it's vegetable shops, okay? I mean, it's the small stuff. So I got really angry the first time. Because I felt very self-righteous. I have no right to blah, blah, blah. Because on top of it, I was being very kind. Because I wanted to buy corn. And I was alone. So it only came in packages of 5, 6, 7, I don't know. So I said, look, I'm not going to eat 5, 6, 7 corn cobs. I said, I give you the same price because it's very cheap. But I only want 2 and you keep the rest. So he probably thought, well, this woman is so stupid. I mean, come on, let's have a go with it. So I paid him with a 50 shekel note, or 100 shekel note, I think. And then he kind of gave me back for 50 shekel. And I said, but I gave you 100. And he had a 50 shekel note in his hand. I said, no, I gave you 100. They do this in India, so I know it. But I didn't expect it here. Yeah? So there's nothing I could do. How come I got... And I felt this wave of anger coming up and saying something like, I feel almost ashamed to say that I thought. Because I came, it was during the Intifada, and no other tourists were here practically. So then I made him responsible for the tourists not coming anymore, in my mind, okay? For cheating the tourists. Luckily I didn't say anything. So this was like 20 years ago, where I would still have these emotions coming up and all the things I wanted to say, but luckily already having had the discipline of not saying it. I walked out of the shop, I started laughing. I thought, you're ridiculous. What is it? And I said, what is 50 shekel like that? Yeah, no big deal. So a bit like this. Do you see what I mean? So now I know, so then I don't get upset anymore, because now I know. And I really love this country, because also, in no other country, like the other day I went on the bus, and I already told you the situation maybe. I went on a bus, and from Kikarabi to Allenby, the woman who was sitting next to me, who doesn't speak any English and I don't speak any Hebrew, but I knew her life story. Because, she was sitting like at the back of the bus, and then the seat next to the window was empty, so I asked, can I sit there? And she looked at me a bit annoyed, she said, Rega! So I said, yeah, okay, can I go there? But she wanted to go there, she wanted to let me have the seat which is more comfortable. So it took her a while to go there, because she was not young. So then she was kind of saying that, the step is very high, and my knees are very bad, and all this. I don't understand what she said. Well, yeah, she points to the knees, the step is high. But then there was a young lady sitting there who started translating for us. Yeah? So then I knew that she came in 48, she's 78, she has bad knees, she came in 48 from Istanbul, and in her bag there is a telephone that she now is going to the shop to have it fixed. In which other country is that happening? Nowhere. And I tell you, I go to many countries. That a total stranger, and the other day I was sitting at the bus station also, there's also said to the lady, she's from Yemen, her mother, before coming here, bought her an apartment in the Tzedek, and she came with her husband, the whole thing. And then we were talking, and she knew I had to take bus number 10. I didn't notice, and the buses, when the bus station is small, you have to be really quick to go on the bus, otherwise it's gone. So she said, the 10 is coming, go. So this is what I'm saying. I think I can see it like all the different facets. It has very good things, which for me are more important than being cheated in the shuk. And because I use it as a practice. Yeah. So like this. So this is the mind that you will have as a Buddha. Okay? But also all your negative karma is finished, so you probably won't get cheated anymore. But it wouldn't matter if you get cheated. There's no chance of anger coming out. But by seeing that this other person is creating negative karma, then you probably would do something about it. If I do something about it now and start complaining, then I do it out of self-concern, because I'm concerned about my shape. I'm not doing it because of this other guy's karma, to be honest. So then it wouldn't be pure anyway. So then again, it's out of self-concern. So like that. So the body that they have is like a body so that we use, when you do tantric practices, you use as a visualization. Or when I prostrate, I visualize light coming. I visualize the Buddha sitting here, but not in a statue or in a painting, but in a three-dimensional light body. And then when I prostrate, then white light is coming here to purify negativities of my body. Red light is coming here to purify negativities of my speech. Blue light is coming here to purify negativities of my mind. Sometimes I remember I have to do that, most of the time I forget. Then the hands, when you fold your hands, you're not folding them like this, but you put your thumb inside. So coming back to what I said at the beginning, the basis of your Buddhist spiritual practice is understanding the two levels of existence. Relative truth, which has to do with karma, compassion, love, impermanence, to understand all these things. That is the relative level. What on a relative level brings happiness. The other level of existence is emptiness. That even though things appear and exist and function, but from their own side, they are empty of existing independently, permanently, under their own power. Under their own power, meaning an apple can create itself. That would mean being itself means doesn't need any other causes and conditions to be an apple. It appears like this. When you eat your apples there that we brought, or other fruits, you don't see the tree, you don't see the people who planted it, you don't see where the tree comes from, you don't see that tree also came from another tree, blah, 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 blah. You don't see all this. It appears as if this apple itself is on the plate. Yeah? This is what it appears. And that's wrong. That's flawed. So when they talk about emptiness, it's like quantum physics, yeah, a bit, for material things. That nothing exists without causes and conditions. And if you look for the apple in the apple, you cannot find it. You only find parts of apple. And then when you look at the parts of apple, also, you only find parts of parts. And you go further down and further down and further down. And what you're left with is just possibilities. Okay? So this is the other